Hi, good evening. Hi, this is Christine here. And can you imagine? I went and bought my first silver coin recently, for example, and it really did shatter my expectations because I actually doubled the coin that I purchased. And what was so amazing is what I was drawn to is because it's my logo that you can see here on the screen. That really drew me to the stacking of silver, for example. And today's video, I'm super excited because I believe that in May that it's actually going to shatter expectations. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what some experts have been saying, but also what I am also picking up on from me just actually purchasing something the other day. So stay tuned and stay with me, because what I want to talk to you about is how May is going to be an amazing month for gold and silver. So let me go dive straight into it. So can you imagine, right, that something huge is really brewing right now in gold and the silver markets? And I believe that April really is setting the foundation for the stage that could be a massive breakout in May 2025. Just a few weeks ago, for example, we had gold and silver, the tariffs, everything was happening, for example, and prices were dropping. But with gold and silver, it seemed to hold its own. And that was, for me, a good foundation for me to invest in this safe haven. Because at the end of the day, when you see something standing in the storm and it's not wavering much, it's something to go ahead with, for example. So I'll just talk about what the silver and gold market is currently at the moment. So at the moment, gold is, it is just shooting up there. It is going up. It's $3,424.50. Wow, that is remarkable. And with silver, yes, silver is the kind of like a slow burner, but it's going up as well. It's at $32.60. The high is $32.72. Look, this is remarkable. And we can start at wherever we are in our lives financially. Whether it's silver that you can afford, then I would suggest you get the silver. If it's gold that you can afford, then you can get the gold, for example. But what I'm saying to you is that I do believe, and I still, from when I first started doing videos about gold and silver, I feel that silver is going to stand the test of time. And yes, gold is great and wonderful, and it's about what you can afford as well. But let me just go into this just a bit more, because there's a few things that we're still... Silver's kind of like hidden because it's kind of been used for industrial purposes, i.e. electronic vehicles. Now AI chips are now being used more, for example, technology, medical equipment, in different manufacturing industries, car industries, but also as well, we've got the robots as well. But there's the, how can I say it? There's this unhidden, it's like the tortoise that is going to win the race. I believe so. And although gold is doing remarkably well, I mean, listen, gold is like going up sometimes $110 a day. That is remarkable. I've never seen this before. It is huge. And silver is like the slow, poor relative, but the demand for silver is going to outweigh gold. So I can only imagine that that's going to go up. But I'm going to talk to you about, because, I'm just a stacker. I'm a gold and silver investor that's saving for my retirement, and I'm sure, or for a rainy day, for example. Now, let me just go a bit further into this. So if silver is starting to gain traction of $2 to $3 or even $10 in a single day, which is very possible, it could really trigger a massive domino effect, even pushing gold higher alongside it, because gold is always ahead of silver, and silver is always following. It's like a magnet. It's following gold, you know, from the distance, but it's still getting there, still winning. Because look at me, I purchased this, for example, for 35 euros, and when I checked it out, seeing what it was worth, it actually doubled. It doubled in what I actually purchased it for. And this is a silver coin here I'm talking about. So my personal win, and you know, I've just showed you my real proof, something which I purchased for 35 euros, for example, okay, it is worth $60 and more from what I've been seeing online as well, for example. So it's almost doubled in value, and that's silver I'm referring to, not gold. So this tells me one thing, that the market is waking up. It's waking up, and the breakout is really ready to start moving. But it's moving quietly. Silver is moving quietly, but surely. We're seeing these signs now. We're in April 2025, and we're seeing these signs for silver, early signs, but we're also seeing the signs for gold in a massive way. Gold is leading the path, for example. So gold is exploding. What can I say? 25% already. Gold has had a powerful start to 2025, and it's up 25% year to date. And why is this? It's because of the inflation. Central banks are buying in bulk. They're also buying in silver as well. And there's the US-China tension that is going on at the moment. So a trade war is, you know, the uncertainty is here, for example. So people are really running to safe havens. Gold is the leader right now, but like I said, I believe that silver is the tortoise that's going to win the race. So why May? Why could it change everything, for example? Because of what April has triggered. So here's the real message tonight, for example. April is acting like a pressure cooker. It is ready to, I believe it's ready to pop, for example. So more physical silver is moving. People are buying silver. Not just the banks, not just the wealthy people, everyday people are starting to buy gold and silver, for example. And there's been people that's been buying silver and gold anyway for many, many years. But there's more people becoming awake to this. More people like me becoming awake to this, because at the end of the day, the currency is changing. It's devaluing, for example. So I believe that the gold and silver, for example, the bullions, they're going to become the new currency. It's already been legal in some areas as well, some states, for example. So, like I said, physical gold is moving. More institutions are eyeing up bullion big time. So the paper contracts, they are being challenged. For example, retail stackers like you and me, for example, we are buying faster than ever before. We're looking at building for our future, for the long term, for example. And if that pressure blows in May, we could use silver not only to catch up to gold in its performance, but also potentially to outperform it. So May could change everything because of what April is. What we're experiencing now is quietly building a momentum behind the scenes. I just told you what the gold prices are. I just told you what the silver prices are as well. So inside the bullion shops, what's happening on the ground? I visited 2 bullion shops in Cyprus recently, and I felt the shift. One shop allowed me to buy 1 coin, for example. The second, it was by appointment only and required to buy in bulk as well. Both shops were absolutely brilliant, but they had different styles, which, you know, I really did like that. So like I said, you know, the shops are also making shifts as well. So silver access is tightening. Even the demand is rising. And even in the store, it's becoming clearer that the breakout is building. It's growing. So we haven't been told that there is a recession, but we are seeing that there's an economic warning sign. We're seeing patterns. It's as if history is repeating itself. And a Reuters poll is now saying that there's a 50% chance of the US going into recession within 12 months, even with a short tariff pause. This is according to Reuters. And let me say that I am not a financial advisor, and you should seek financial advice when it comes to investing. I am just an ordinary woman that is interested in buying gold and silver for retirement purposes. You'll see here that I've got some links here for you to download my free gifts, to download the stacker so that you can start growing and building your silver or gold stack or both. So like I said, the economic warning signs are here. Gold and silver are reacting because the world is becoming, we're becoming a bit nervous. Investors are preparing, and you should too as well. So look at what it is that you can actually afford to buy. So this is really a stacker alert that this is a window. If you're asking yourself, should I start stacking? The answer is yes. And I'm not saying going out there and buying what these millionaires are buying, spending thousands upon thousands. You spend what you can afford. A coin for $35, for example, $30, whatever it is that you can afford. But make a start. Because whether it's just 1 coin or whether you buy a tube of 10 silver coins or a monthly stacking, whether you buy a gold coin, for example, a quarter of an ounce, half an ounce, 1 ounce gold coin, or you start off with silver, then you've made a start. Because don't wait till things get high and then the momentum becomes really high to get that thing that you wanted to purchase in the first place. Just start buying with 1 coin a month, for example. And yes, gold is strong right now, but silver is also gaining traction. And the next few weeks could be the most important of the year for you to see those changes, for example. But what I'd like for you to also do is to download my free stacking calculator, my retirement planner. It is here in the link here. And buy silver and gold. I'm going to put a link here as well. I am an affiliate, but you can buy your own gold and silver. But go and check out your local stores. Check out your local stores. Check out your local dealers and see what they can offer you. Because for me, it was nice speaking to someone face to face, seeing what it is and what it meant. So are you a stacker for protection, for retirement, for your legacy? Drop a comment in the description here, and just let me know. Are you stacking for retirement? Because this is about freedom, security, and getting ahead before the crowd starts to wake up. I'd like to say thank you to all of you for subscribing to the channel, and thank you for your likes. Thank you for your comments. I truly appreciate them. But let me tell you something. When I'm looking at these gold, and I hope that for those of you that have had an Easter break, I hope that you've had a good Easter, for example. But when I'm looking at this, it really does give me inspiration. And when I saw this coin, this silver coin, it had my logo on. That was a sign for me to build my legacy, to build for the future. Because we don't know where we're going to be when it comes time to our retirement. We don't know how much we're truly going to get, because as each year goes by, the currency, the dollar, is depreciating. The cash money is depreciating in value, I believe by 8% every year. So what does that say for our retirement, for example? I'm looking at a 5-10 year plan. What are you looking at? Some of you are possibly looking to save for purchasing for your first home. Some of you may be looking to purchase for your retirement, or for when you need to cash in some money to pay for something in an emergency. I would say to you all is to, if you can, visit your community, see if there's a local dealer in your community that is a coin dealer, that's an expert, because you will learn so much on the different types of coins, for example. And start off small. Or you can go on my link here. It's a bullion, JM Bullion, for example. And they've got different prices, because you can start off wherever you are financially. But let me tell you, the banks are buying gold and silver, the Federal Reserves, the governments, large organizations are. So Why should you not start? Why do you think they're buying instead of the currency? Because they know that the currency is devaluing and that they can't rely on the currency. Because things are, you notice when you go to the shops, things are more expensive. Things are becoming expensive as you go into the shops. So the signs are there, you're seeing them. So why not buy yourself some gold or silver, whatever it is that you can afford, and start purchasing once a month even, whenever you can, for example. I'm not saying to go without, I'm saying whatever you've got left over, for example, then start off with a silver coin, whatever it is that you can afford. So thank you so much for joining me today, but I wanted to share this with you because gold is, I'm really shocked at how quick the gold and silver is growing. So the silver is $32.63. The high is $32.75. Gold is like, wow, $3,424.80. That is huge. In the beginning, you could get it it was just under $3,000. The beginning of January, I think it was $2,600. So it's like nearly almost put on 1,000. This is gold I'm referring to. 1,000 from $1,000 per ounce, for example. That's how much it's put on. And silver is getting there. It's just that it's not being used so much because people are looking at it as industry type of thing. But we wear gold and silver. We have silver jewelry, for example, and it will grow up because of the demand. The demand is going to make it become more popular because we need it in our everyday life. We need it for our tech. We need it for our mobile phones. We need it for our solar panels. It's needed for AI. It's needed for AI chips, for example. It's needed for the robots, for example. It's needed for medical equipment. It's needed for the electronic vehicles, for example. And I could go on and on. So silver is going to become outweighing gold because of the demand. And as I've said, that the mining is going to, silver 20 years, if they don't find new mines, will run out. So imagine what silver is going to be then, for example. Silver is used for all kinds of things. The military, they need it for defense, for example. But it's always been seen as an industrial. But now things are changing because of AI, and it's going to make it more popular. I mean, I just purchased that bullion coin, for example, for $34, for example, and it's worth $60 and more. I've doubled, 2x'd my silver coin, 2x'd it. So something's happening, and this is why I've just come on here, because I wanted to share that with you, my news from what I'm seeing. And I believe that May is going to just be one big explosion. And you know what? I feel good because I'm purchasing these gold coins, silver coins, for example. And I can't wait to get my first gold coin either. But it's something that's going to keep me pushing forward with it, because when I spotted that silver coin with my logo on, that was a sign for me to do silver stacking as well as gold stacking. I'm going to do both, but I'm starting off slowly. And I'm going to be doing, like I said, I'm going to be coming on here daily, for example. I've had a couple of days off, but I've still uploaded, for example, daily. But I want to really push this, that we start becoming aware that we can purchase gold and silver coins, for example. I started doing gold and silver in 2007, before the crash happened, the recession happened, for example. So, and for me, that was a really exciting time, because we were doing gold and silver, scrap gold parties, for example, and then turning that scrap gold into gold or silver bars, for example. So, and for me back then, we were purchasing for under the spot price, 30% less. So we were making a profit on top of the growth as well. So this is really an exciting time for gold and silver right now. And I just wanted to share that with you, because Ben Holter, one of the experts in talking about precious metals, he also mentioned about the growth. So it's not just me talking about this. This is about coming from experts that are speaking about the growth that they're seeing happening. And it's also in the financial, even though really people aren't talking about it much in the press or even in the news. They don't seem to be talking about the growth of gold, how massively that's grown. For that to grow by $100 in a day is massive. It is massive. It's massive growth. But yet it's not being talked about in the news, because I believe that, the banks, everyone's buying these things up. And if they're buying it, then it is something valuable. So don't just take my word for it. See what is happening, because gold and silver, it is breaking out, and it's going to shatter expectations, and could be the change that we're expecting. For example, with gold and silver, the breakout is going to happen. So I hope that you'll be able to join me for the next live. I'll be going live tomorrow, and I look forward to speaking with you all then. Have a wonderful day, and I will speak with you all soon. Take care. Thank you. Bye. Thank you for your comment.